We are constrained continually and on all sides by big government. That's the issue. Whether you're talking about firearms or the health bill or anything else, the issue is which is to be the master, the federal government or the people. Now, the founders said it was to be the people.
I agree with you 100%. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. On the arms issue, an unarmed populace is a population of serfs. Citizens are armed, non-citizens are not armed, and that's been throughout the course of history of mankind. And through the intrusion of the federal government and the state government, especially like in California, with all of the laws and so forth concerning the impalement of the Second Amendment, what it is that it's a precursor towards enslavement.
Of course.
And if we are an unarmed society, we are basically slaves.
My friend Pete at Western Rifle Shooters Association blog says that they really messed up when they didn't immediately come for the weapons, that they didn't make that their first priority, because leaving those here, and especially given the fact that the American people have continued to arm themselves at an increasing rate over the last year.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, forget the number.
Try to buy some 380 ammo right now.
Forget all the weapons that have been purchased. In an average year, the American people, prior to the present administration, purchased about 7 billion rounds of ammunition a year. Okay? That's for everything: target shooting, self-defense, hunting, whatever. In this past year, they have purchased, as near as can be determined, at least 16 billion rounds of ammunition. And
I understand it's enough to basically provide enough rounds for 3 or 4 government armies, and one of them being China.
Yeah, more actually. Okay, more.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of gun owners in the country is approximately 100 million. Hone it down as we do, and say, look, the people who are really the cold dead hands types are only 3% of that. That's still the muzzles of 3 million rifles that is pointed directly at the heart of any attempted tyranny in this country. So I frankly don't understand, absent just the sheer malicious, tear down America idea. I don't understand why they are doing what they are doing. It makes no political sense to me whatsoever, unless all they are attempting to do is sow discord and destruction in the country.
Well, can I pose a scenario to you that I think it may be a piece of the puzzle, and I don't know it for sure, but it makes a bit of sense to me. And I've talked to a few other folks like Adrian Salbucci and some others on this theory. And what I think they're trying to do, because we're a young nation relatively compared to the rest, and with the dollar going to collapse, according to the market analysts out there, at least the honest ones, that it's been imploded. Whether folks believe it was intentional or not, it isn't going to survive. And they think that our country's going to have to institute austerity measures, kind of like Germany did back in '38. And the collectivists believe that because of the thin fabric of our social construct here, that when they cut back those benefits, the different groups that have been on the dole, so to say, or at the receiving end of that, will then kind of turn on those they feel that are responsible. And we all know our education has been sowing that type of victim mentality into every group out there now. And so the folks that have stocked ammo and weapons and things like that will then have to use them just to defend what they have and to hold the food that they've stored And at the end of enough unrest, when the government feels like they can come in and mop up because of the chaos and everything else, they'll be able to suspend the Constitution and then run the government in a more totalitarian style, kind of like China. And I see a lot of merit to that argument. I wanted to get some of your thoughts on that.
Well, if that's what they're thinking, good luck. Good luck to them. Again, you have to look at where we are now versus where we were, say, in the 90s. All right. One of the things that these people should remember is that in 1999, Bill Clinton decided to change the rules of engagement as they applied to the American military. He decided, since the Serbians were being recalcitrant and not doing what he wanted them to do, that the politicians, the news media, and the intelligentsia who supported the war effort of his enemy were legitimate targets of war. To pursue that end, he, one night, had some precision-guided munitions put inside the homes of Serbian politicians, including Milosevic, missed them, had some put inside the windows of Serbian radio and TV, and he managed to kill a number of makeup artists, security guards, and floor sweepers. But the point is that while the elites may have forgotten that lesson, we have not. And the only way that a restoration of the Constitution can happen is if the war makers are identified and eliminated after they make their first deadly mistake in attacking us. Now, what that means is that there's a whole lot of folks who now think that they're untouchable will find out they are touchable. Now, some people think that that just my mentioning this is sedition. And I say, if this be treason, make the most of it. But you must understand, the only way we're going to avoid this, if possible, is to get across to the elites that we're not going to be worried so much about shooting the folks who come to shoot us. We will skip several levels and go straight for their throats. And they best understand that. Because civil wars happen. All wars happen. Because people do not understand the consequences. Now, what these people are doing is they have extrapolated first from their own cowardice. That is to say, they expect us to do as they would. If the government ordered them to do something at the penalty of their lives, they would do it because they have no beliefs that they are willing to die for. We, on the other hand, do. They also extrapolate from their ignorance. They have no idea how advanced thinking has come in the armed citizenry over the past 15 years, plus since Waco. Okay, we now understand that fourth-generation warfare applied to American political conflict means that we go straight for the lawyers. I mean, they are willing to fight to the last ATF agent, the last FBI agent. Are they willing to fight to the first congressman, the second senator, the third newspaper editor, the fourth lawyer? Okay, who is high up?
Those critters are all going to cut and run. When it all
they
comes
cannot,
down to it, they're going to cut and run.
They cannot
okay.
run far enough or fast enough.
But that's in their minds, and this is the problem, is that in their minds that what they are is that they're going to be absolved and they're going to cut and run and cut and hide. And I agree with you, Mike. I mean, they cannot. You know, when it all pops, okay, when it all pops, you're going to have an armed populace and an unarmed populace with we have 35, 40, 50 years of suppressed anger, of our rights being taken away, And these people are going to remember, and they're going to be searching for those the congressmen. I know in the state of California right now, if you're a member of the state Senate or the state Congress, you are in danger. Okay, you are in grave danger of losing your life because you're going to get hung on the streets of the Capitol. And having said that, I think they're becoming aware of that. But one of the big things is that there's so much arrogance in Washington as far as what they think they can get away with. Look at what they're going to do with health care bill. They're not even going to vote on it. They're just going to pass it, right? So, and what kind of government do we have left that thinks that they can just pass it? Everybody's against it. There's a 95%, of the population doesn't want it.
But it's not just that they're passing a law. This law, if that's what they pass, this law says that every one of us